In the chaotic swirl of Chicago's O'Hare International Airport, 32-year-old Lena Harper, a black woman in a sleek gray coat, stands triumphant, clutching a blood-streaked USB drive, evidence that could topple a corrupt empire. She's just escaped a brutal ambush in a cargo bay, believing she's outsmarted her pursuers. But as she strides toward her gate, a smug white cop, Officer Victor Grayson, blocks her path, his eyes dripping with contempt. What starts as a routine spirals into a nightmare, threatening her secret FBI mission and a lifetime of fighting prejudice. Will justice slip through her fingers? Before we dive in, let me know where you're watching from. If you stand for justice against corruption, hit like and subscribe for more gripping tales like Lena's fight ahead. Lena Harper weaves through the bustling chaos of O'Hare International Airport's Terminal 3, her pulse still hammering from the violent clash she barely survived 20 minutes ago in a shadowed cargo bay tucked behind Concourse K. The sleek gray coat hides the bruises blooming across her ribs where a smuggler's fist connected before she snatched the blood-streaked USB drive from his grasp, a prize that could dismantle a sprawling gun-running syndicate, poisoning cities across the nation. She's an undercover FBI agent, 32 years old, posing as a marketing consultant named Lena Miles, her real identity buried beneath layers of forged paperwork and practiced smiles. Her mission is clear: catch a flight to Seattle, deliver the drive to her handler, and expose the corrupt cops shielding the operation. A network she's spent 8 months infiltrating with sleepless nights and whispered threats. Sweat beads on her forehead as she adjusts the strap of her black leather backpack, her only luggage, keeping her steps brisk but controlled toward gate F12. The drive, nestled in a hidden compartment, feels like a lead weight against her spine. Its encrypted files a ticking bomb of names, dates, and deals that could send dozens to prison, if not the grave. Around her, travelers shuffle in a symphony of impatience, rolling suitcases clattering over tiles, voices overlapping in a dozen languages, the air thick with coffee and jet fuel. She scans the crowd, brown eyes sharp behind her casual facade, searching for any sign of pursuit, any flicker of recognition from the syndicate's eyes she might have missed. Her flight boards in 40 minutes, and her handler, a woman she knows only as Tara, waits on the other end with a team ready to crack the data wide open. Lena's mind replays the ambush, the smuggler's guttural curse as she kneed him in the gut, the glint of his knife she dodged before bolting into the airport's maze. She thought she'd lost them, that she'd bought herself enough time to vanish into the sky. She's wrong. Halfway to her gate, a figure steps into her path, broad shoulders filling out a crisp navy uniform, badge glinting under the fluorescent lights like a predator's teeth. Officer Victor Grayson, 48, a white man with a buzz cut and a jaw carved from granite, stares her down, his pale blue eyes narrowing with a venom she's seen too many times before. His lips twist into a sneer as he plants himself squarely in front of her, forcing her to halt or crash into his bulk. "ID," he barks, voice low and gravelly, hand outstretched like he's already decided her guilt. Lena's stomach tightens, a familiar anger simmering beneath her skin, but she keeps her face neutral, years of training locking her emotions behind a steel wall. "Excuse me?" she says, voice steady, buying a heartbeat to assess him. "You don't look like you belong here," Grayson snaps, his gaze raking over her coat, her backpack, her dark skin, lingering with a disgust he doesn't bother to mask. "Identification, now." The words drip with authority, but beneath them lies something uglier, a prejudice as old as the badge he wears. Around them, a few travelers glance over, then look away, unwilling to tangle with the uniform. Lena's mind races, her cover story clicking into place. She's Lena Miles, consultant, flying to Seattle for a client meeting, nothing more. Her real credentials, the FBI badge that could end this in seconds, stay buried in her bag, too risky to flash with the mission teetering on a knife's edge. She reaches into her coat pocket, fingers brushing the fake driver's license she's carried for months, and hands it over with a practiced calm. "Here you go, officer," she says, meeting his stare, refusing to flinch. Grayson snatches the card, holding it up like it's evidence of a crime, his thick fingers smudging the edges. He squints at it, then at her, as if searching for a lie in the curve of her jaw or the set of her shoulders. "Lena Miles," he reads aloud, voice heavy with mockery. Charlotte, huh? What's a girl like you doing rushing through my airport? The "my" lands like a claim, a warning, and Lena's jaw clenches, the urge to snap back clawing at her throat. She's faced this before, the profiling, the assumption she's out of place, a threat by default. At gas stations and boardrooms on quiet streets after dark, it's always the same script, but now it's a live wire threatening to spark and burn her mission to ash. "I've got a flight to catch," she says evenly, nodding toward the gate, now just 50 yards away, where passengers are already lining up. "Business trip." Grayson doesn't budge, his smirk widening, a hunter savoring the squirm of his prey. "Business, huh? Looks more like you're running from something." He steps closer, close enough she can smell the stale coffee on his breath, his bulk looming over her 5'6" frame. "Let's see what's in that bag." Her heart kicks against her ribs, but she keeps her hands still, knowing any twitch could escalate this into a search she can't afford. "It's just my laptop and some clothes." She lies smoothly, voice light, playing the flustered traveler. "I'm already late, officer. Can we make this quick?" Grayson's eyes glint, a flicker of triumph, as if her politeness is a confession. "We'll see about that," he mutters, then lifts his radio to his ear, thumb pressing the button, with a deliberate slowness that sets her nerves on edge. "This is Grayson, Terminal 3. Need backup for a suspicious individual. Female, black, mid-30s, gray coat, gate, F12. The words crackle into the air, loud enough for a nearby family to turn and stare, the mother pulling her kids closer. Lena's chest tightens, a mix of fury and dread flooding her veins. Suspicious individual. The label sticks like tar, branding her in front of strangers, and she knows it's no accident. Grayson's playing a game, one he's won before, banking on her skin to justify his hunch. She glances at her watch, 35 minutes to boarding, her contact's rendezvous ticking closer to collapse. "I've done nothing wrong," she says, voice firm now, a quiet challenge slipping through her restraint. "You've got my ID. I need to go." Grayson lowers the radio, stepping even closer, his shadow swallowing her space. "You'll go when I say you can," he growls, his tone a blade slicing through her calm. "People like you always think they can rush through here, acting like they own the place. Not on my watch." The "people like you" lands like a punch, raw and unfiltered, and Lena's hands curl into fists at her sides, nails biting into her palms. She could take him down, she thinks, a flash of training surging through her, a quick jab to his throat, a sweep of his legs. But that would blow everything, expose her, end the mission before it's begun. Instead, she holds his gaze, letting the silence stretch, a standoff neither wants to break. Footsteps echo behind her, sharp and purposeful, and she risks a glance. 2 more officers approaching, one older with a paunch, the other young and twitchy, both white, both falling in, line behind Grayson like soldiers to a general. "What's the holdup, Vic?" The older one grunts, eyeing Lena with a lazy suspicion. "She's not cooperating," Grayson lies, his smirk twisting into something darker. "Might need to take her in." Lena's breath catches. The gate, now a distant dream as the clock ticks down. 30 minutes. Her contact will vanish, the drive will stay locked in her bag, and the syndicate will keep bleeding lives across the country. She forces a smile, thin and brittle, playing the card she hates most. "Officers, I'm just trying to get home. Please, I don't want trouble." The words taste like acid, but they work. Grayson's ego swelling at her deference. He hands back her ID, slow and deliberate, a king granting mercy. "Stay out of my sight," he snaps, waving her off, but his eyes promise he's not finished. Lena nods, slipping past, her legs carrying her toward the gate as the weight of his stare burns into her back. She thinks she's dodged the bullet, that she's still in the game, but as she rounds the corner she hears his radio crackle again, his voice a low murmur she can't quite catch, and a chill slithers down her spine. Backup's coming, and Grayson's not letting her go that easy. Lena Harper slips away from Officer Victor Grayson's venomous glare, her fake ID back in her pocket, her heart still thudding like a war drum as she weaves through the throng of O'Hare's Terminal 3. The gate looms ahead, a beacon of escape. But the clock's ticking down, 28 minutes until boarding. Her Seattle flight the only lifeline to deliver the blood-streaked USB drive humming with secrets that could shatter a gun-running empire. She adjusts her gray coat, the bruises from the cargo bay ambush pulsing under her skin. A reminder of the smuggler's fists and the knife she barely dodged to secure the prize now stashed in her backpack's hidden lining. She's still reeling. From Grayson's stop, his words, "people like you," echoing in her skull. A racist jab she's heard 1,000 times but never with such stakes tethered to it. Her cover as Lena Miles' marketing consultant held, but his radio call for backup lingers in her mind, a snake coiled to strike. She pushes forward, dodging a harried businessman barking into his phone, her eyes scanning for the gate's glowing sign, F12, when a hand clamps her shoulder, hard and unyielding. She spins, instincts flaring, and there's Grayson again, his bulk filling her vision, his sneer sharper than before. "Not so fast," he growls, jerking his chin toward a side corridor. "Random check. Move." Her stomach drops, a cold sweat prickling her neck, but she nods, keeping her face blank, years of FBI training kicking in to mask the panic clawing at her chest. What's he playing at? Has he seen through her story already? She follows, legs steady as he leads her to a cramped security room off the main concourse, the door slamming shut behind them with a metallic clang that rattles her bones. Inside, the air's stale, a single bulb buzzing overhead, casting harsh shadows on the white walls. Another officer waits, a wiry kid barely 25, his uniform crisp, but his hands fidgeting, eyes darting between Grayson and Lena like he's caught in a storm he didn't sign up for. His name tag reads Miles Kent, and the irony twists her gut, her fake name staring back at her from this nervous rookie's chest. Grayson doesn't introduce him, just points at her backpack. "Drop it on the table," he orders, voice thick with glee, like he's unwrapping a gift he knows is rigged to explode. Lena complies, sliding the bag onto the scratched metal surface, her mind racing for an out. Can she talk her way through this? Will Kent see reason where Grayson's blind? The USB's safe, she tells herself, tucked in that secret pocket, undetectable, unless they rip the lining apart. But Grayson's eyes glint with a hunger that says he's itching to do just that. He starts tearing into the bag, yanking out her laptop, a folded sweater, a water bottle, tossing them aside like trash, his thick fingers probing every seam. "What's a girl like you hiding?" he mutters, loud enough for Kent to hear, his tone dripping with accusation, the girl a deliberate barb to shrink her down. Lena's fists clench behind her back, nails digging into her palms, the urge to snap his wrist surging through her. But she swallows it, knowing one wrong move could blow her cover, her mission, her life. Kent hovers, unzipping a side pocket, pulling out a pack of gum and a pen, his movements mechanical, like he's following a script he doesn't believe in. "Just standard stuff," he mumbles almost to himself, but Grayson shoots him a look that could curdle milk. "Keep looking," he snaps, then turns back to Lena, leaning in close, his coffee breath hot on her face. "You think you're slick, don't you? Running around my airport like you've got nothing to answer for." The my lands again, a claim staked in prejudice, and Lena's blood boils, memories flashing of every time she's been singled out, followed in stores, stopped on streets, her skin a bullseye for men like him. She could end this. Flash, or badge, but the syndicate's reach is unknown, and exposing herself here could tip them off, let them scatter before the FBI closes the net. Instead, she tilts her head, forcing her voice to waver, a crack she hates faking. "Officer, I'm just trying to visit my aunt. She's sick, cancer, and I'm all she's got left." The lie spills out smooth, her eyes welling up on cue, a trick she learned in undercover school to flip the script on bullies like Grayson. His smirk falters, a flicker of doubt crossing his meaty face, and she presses it, softening her shoulders, shrinking herself into the helpless role he wants her to play. "Please, I don't want any trouble. I just need to get to her." Kent pauses, glancing at her, a hint of sympathy in his twitchy gaze, but Grayson's not fully sold, his fingers brushing the backpack's lining, inches from the USB's hiding spot. Her breath catches, a silent prayer spinning in her head. But then he snorts, stepping back, tossing the bag at her feet. "Fine," he grunts, smug as ever, thinking he's won by making her beg. "Get out of here, but I'm watching you." Lena scoops up the bag, nodding meekly, her heart pounding a victory beat as she slips out, the door clicking shut behind her. She's free, she thinks, striding back into the terminal's bustle, the gate now in sight, 20 minutes to boarding. She outsmarted him, played his game and won. The USB still hers, the mission still alive. She lets out a shaky breath, weaving through a gaggle of tourists snapping selfies, her focus locking on the gate's promise of escape. But then she feels it, a prickle on her neck, and she risks a glance over her shoulder. Grayson's there, 50 yards back, moving through the crowd, his eyes locked on her like a hawk on a rabbit. Worse, a TSA agent trails him, a wiry guy in a neon vest, radio crackling at his hip, both of them cutting through the sea of travelers with purpose. Her stomach lurches, the victory souring fast. Did he buy her story at all? Is he calling her bluff? She picks up her pace, pulse racing, the gate so close yet so far, and realizes Grayson's not done hunting her yet. "Hey, what do you think about Grayson's power trip?" Comment number 1, if you've ever faced someone like him, who twists authority into a weapon, or number 2, if you think Lena should have fought back harder. Hit that like button if you're rooting for her to outsmart this creep, and subscribe to catch every twist as she battles for justice. Grayson's not letting up, but what's his next move? Will he catch her at the gate, or has Lena just stepped into a trap she can't see coming? Lena Harper's boots echo on the polished tiles of O'Hare's Terminal 3 as she closes in on gate F12, the crowd thinning as boarding nears, 16 minutes until takeoff. Her gray coat swishes around her knees, the blood-streaked USB drive still safe in her backpack's hidden lining, a lifeline to expose the gun-running syndicate she's hunted for months. Grayson's shadow looms behind her, his pursuit with the TSA agent a nagging itch she can't shake. But she spots her contact ahead, a wiry man in a faded green cap, lingering near a water fountain by the gate. His eyes flick to hers, a silent signal, and she adjusts her path, weaving past a janitor mopping spilled soda, her pulse steadying. She's made it, she thinks, the Seattle flight her ticket out of this racist cop's grasp. The contact brushes past her, casual as a stranger, and slips a burner phone into her coat pocket, its weight a promise of new orders from her handler, Tara. She keeps moving, sliding into the boarding line, clutching her ticket as the gate agent scans passengers with robotic efficiency. 12 minutes left, and she's almost home free. The ambush in the cargo bay, Grayson's humiliating search, all fading into noise she can outrun. She glances back, spotting Grayson and the TSA agent 50 yards off, arguing with a gate supervisor, their voices lost in the terminal's hum. She smirks, a flicker of triumph warming her chest, thinking she's slipped their net. Then it happens. A heavy hand slams into her back, shoving her out of line, and she stumbles, catching herself against a pillar as Grayson's bulk fills her vision, his sneer twisted into something feral. "Caught you," he snarls, gripping her arm, yanking her toward the gate's edge where the TSA agent, a wiry guy named Torres, blocks her retreat. "Suspicious behavior," Grayson barks, loud enough for the crowd to hear, and heads turn. Travelers freezing mid-step, phones creeping up to record. "You're not boarding until I say so." Lena's blood runs cold, her mind spinning, the burner phone a live wire in her pocket, the USB a death sentence if he finds it. "I've got my ticket," she snaps, voice sharp, pulling free with a twist of her wrist, years of FBI training surging through her muscles. "You've got no cause." Grayson's eyes glint, a predator scenting blood, and he shoves her again. Harder, her shoulder slamming into the wall with a thud that draws gasps from the onlookers. "Resisting an officer," he growls, his lie blatant, his hand darting for her backpack. Torres steps in, muttering about protocol, but Grayson ignores him, his fingers clawing at the straps. Lena's heart hammers, her cover teetering, and she acts fast, ducking under his arm, a fluid sidestep that sends him stumbling into Torres. "Back off," she hisses, loud and clear, playing the outraged civilian, knowing cameras are rolling, witnesses multiplying. Grayson's face reddens, a vein pulsing at his temple, but the crowd's murmur grows. A mother clutching her kid, a businessman whispering to his wife, and he hesitates, his grip loosening. Lena seizes the gap, bolting back to the line, shoving. Her ticket at the gate agent, a young woman with wide eyes who scans it without a word. "You're done," Grayson yells, lunging after her. But Torres grabs his arm, hissing about regulations, and the gate agent waves Lena through, the jetway swallowing her as the clock hits 10 minutes. She's aboard, she thinks, collapsing. Into seat 14B, the plane's hum vibrating through her as she clutches her bag, the burner phone pressed against her thigh. Her shoulder throbs. Grayson's shove a fresh bruise to match the cargo bay's marks, and she scans the cabin, half expecting him to storm the aisle. He doesn't, the doors sealing shut with a hiss, and she exhales, a shaky breath of relief, believing she's outrun him at last. The plane taxis, Chicago's lights blurring beyond the window, and she digs out the burner, flipping it open, her fingers trembling as she keys in the code from memory. A message blinks. Seattle drop confirmed. Stay low. She nods to herself. The mission's still alive. Grayson's racist vendetta a hurdle she's cleared. She leans back, the seat's worn fabric cradling her, and closes her eyes, the adrenaline draining as the plane climbs, 30,000 feet between her and that. Smug cup's reach. She's wrong again. Halfway through the flight, a murmur ripples through the cabin, passengers shifting, heads turning toward the front. Lena's eyes snap open, instincts flaring, and she spots a flight attendant, a wiry blonde with a tight smile, whispering to a man 3 rows up, his suit crisp, his posture too rigid for a civilian. The attendant's lips form a name, Grayson, and Lena's gut twists, a cold realization sinking in. She cranes her neck, catching the man's profile, a faint scar on his jaw, and her breath catches. He's an air marshal, and he's glancing her way, his hand resting on a radio clipped to his belt. Grayson's voice echoes in her mind. "I'm watching you," and she understands. He's not just a bully cop. He's got strings to pull, connections that stretch beyond O'Hare's walls. The marshal doesn't move yet, his eyes flicking to her then away. But the message is clear. Grayson's alerted someone, spun a tale, and now she's a target midair, her escape a mirage crumbling under his relentless hate. She grips the armrest, the burner phone a lifeline she can't use. Not here, not now, and wonders how far his reach really goes, how deep his prejudice has burrowed into the system she's fighting to fix. The plane hums on, Seattle 4 hours away, and Lena's victory sours, a bitter taste of dread settling in as the marshal's radio crackles, a faint voice she can't hear but knows spells trouble. Lena Harper sits rigid in seat 14B, the Boeing 737 slicing through the night sky at 30,000 feet. Chicago's sprawling lights long vanished below. Her gray coat drapes over her lap, the blood-streaked USB drive still tucked in her backpacks, hidden lining, a silent bomb of evidence against a gun-running syndicate that's bled 5 states dry. The burner phone from her O'Hare contact rests in her palm, its cracked screen glowing with the decoded message she punched in 10 minutes ago. USB holds proof of cop-led trafficking ring. Seattle drop, Terra, Pier 52, midnight. She exhales, the words sinking in, months of undercover work crystallized into this moment, a chance to rip the mask off corrupt officers shielding a network trafficking guns from Atlanta to Seattle. Her shoulder aches from Grayson's shove at the gate, her ribs throbbing from the cargo bay ambush. But she's aloft, untouchable, she thinks, 4 hours from delivering the drive to her handler and ending this nightmare. The cabin hums, a low drone of engines and muffled snores. Passengers cocooned in their own worlds. A baby fussing 6 rows back. A businessman tapping his tablet across the aisle. She tucks the burner into her pocket, letting her head rest against the seat, the worn fabric a brief comfort as she replays the gate escape, twisting free from Grayson's grip, dodging his racist fury with the crowd as her shield. She's beaten. Him, she tells herself, his smug face left behind in O'Hare's chaos, his backup call too late to stop her. The air marshal 3 rows up, the one the flight attendant whispered Grayson to, hasn't moved, his scar-jawed profile still, his radio silent. Maybe it's nothing, a coincidence, her nerves frayed from too many close calls. She closes her eyes, willing her pulse to slow, the mission's endgame within reach. Then a shadow falls over her, heavy and deliberate, and her eyes snap open, instinct screaming. The marshal looms in the aisle, 6 feet of lean muscle in a navy suit, his badge glinting on his belt, his hand hovering near a holster she hadn't noticed before. "Ma'am," he says, voice clipped, eyes cold as steel. "I need you to hand over your bag." Lena's heart lurches, a jolt of adrenaline flooding her veins, but she keeps her face blank, years of FBI training locking her panic behind a wall. "What's this about?" she asks, voice steady, sitting up straighter, her fingers tightening on the backpack under her coat. The marshal doesn't blink, his scarred jaw twitching. "Security concern. Got a tip from Chicago." "Suspicious. Passenger, gray coat, seat 14B. Bag check now." The words hit like a punch, Grayson's voice echoing through them, his reach clawing at her from 300 miles away. She glances around, passengers stirring, a woman in 15C peering over her seat, curiosity tinged with fear. The USBs, safe, she reminds herself, hidden where no casual search will find it. But if he digs too deep, if he calls for backup, her cover's ash. "I'm just flying to a meeting," she says, smooth as silk, slipping into her Lena Miles persona. "Marketing, consultant, nothing suspicious here." She pulls out her fake ID, the one Grayson sneered at, and hands it over, her hand steady despite the storm in her chest. The marshal takes it, squinting at the photo, then at her, his radio crackling faintly. A voice she can't make out buzzing through. "Lena Miles," he reads, slow and deliberate like he's tasting a lie. "Chicago says you're a problem. Step into the galley with me." Her stomach twists, the galley a trap, a confined space where he can pin her, search her, end her. Mission midair. She stands, slow and calm, clutching her bag, her mind racing for an out. Can she bluff him? Will he see through her? She follows, the cabin tilting slightly as the plane banks, her boots silent on the carpet. In the galley, a curtain shields them from prying eyes, the flight attendant hovering nearby, her tight smile gone, replaced by a nervous frown. "Bag on the counter," the marshal orders, his hand now resting on his gun, a subtle threat that chills her blood. Lena complies, setting it down, her breath shallow as he unzips it, rummaging through her laptop, her sweater, her water bottle, his fingers brushing the lining but not probing deeper. "This is a mistake," she says, voice firm, leaning into the lie. "I've been harassed enough today. Some cop in Chicago didn't like my face. That's all this is." She locks eyes with him, daring him to push, her tone edged with just enough outrage to sell it. The marshal pauses, a flicker of doubt crossing his face, his hand stalling over the bag. "Got a name for that cop?" he asks, testing her. "Grayson," she spits, letting real anger seep through, a calculated risk. "Officer Victor Grayson. Check his record, he's got a habit of this." The marshal's jaw tightens, his radio crackling again, and he steps back, muttering into it, too low for her to hear. She holds her breath, praying he buys it that Grayson's reputation precedes him. After a tense beat, he shoves the bag back at her, his eyes still hard but wavering. "Sit down," he grunts, waving her off. "No more trouble, or you're off at Seattle." Lena nods, scooping up her bag, her pulse hammering a victory tune as she slides back into 14B, the marshal retreating to his seat. She's dodged him, she thinks, sinking into the cushion, the USB still hers, the mission intact. The plane hums on, 2 hours to go, and she lets her shoulders loosen, believing she's safe at last, 30,000 feet above Grayson's grasp. She's wrong. As the captain announces descent into Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, the cabin lights flicker on, passengers stirring, buckling belts, gathering bags. Lena peers out the window, the city's glow piercing the dark, and adjusts her coat, ready to slip into the night and find Tara. Then she sees them, through the jetway window as the plane docks, a cluster of local cops in black vests, radios buzzing, eyes scanning the disembarking crowd. Her throat closes, a sick realization dawning. Grayson's tip wasn't just a mid-air scare. He's framed her, spun a story that's followed her across state lines. The marshal stands, glancing her way, and she knows he's in on it. His retreat, a feint to keep her calm until they landed. She's a fugitive now, hunted on the ground, Grayson's racist vendetta turning her escape into a cage snapping shut, and the USB, her only weapon, might not reach Tara before they drag her down. Lena Harper's heart slams against her ribs as she peers through the jetway window, the plane jolting to a stop at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. The cluster of local cops in black vests, a grim welcome committee scanning the disembarking crowd. Her gray coat hangs heavy on her shoulders, the blood-streaked USB drive still nestled in her backpack's hidden lining, a fragile key to exposing a cop-led gun-running syndicate that's turned her into a hunted ghost. She's 32, an undercover FBI agent, but Grayson's racist frame job has branded her a fugitive. His tip from O'Hare spiraling into this trap she thought she'd outrun at 30,000 feet. The air marshal's retreat was a lie, a stall until she hit the ground, and now the jetway's a funnel to her doom. Passengers shuffling past, oblivious to the noose tightening around her neck. She grips her bag, mind racing, the burner phone's message. Seattle drop Tara, Pier 52, midnight. A lifeline 2 hours away if she can slip this net. She adjusts her hood, pulling it low, and spots a service exit 10 yards left. A narrow door marked, staff only, her only shot. She moves, casual but swift, weaving through a family hauling overstuffed carry-ons. Their chatter a shield as she reaches the door, nudging it open with her elbow, the hinges creaking softly. A dim hallway stretches ahead, flickering lights, and the tang of bleach, and she slips inside, the jetway's clamor fading as the door clicks shut. She's out, she thinks, darting past a mop bucket, her boots silent on the tiles, the cop's radio's a distant buzz she's dodged. She finds a stairwell, descending 2 flights to a parking garage, the air cool and thick with exhaust, and spots a figure by a black SUV, Tara Brooks, her handler, 41, sharp-eyed in a leather jacket, waving her over. Lena sprints, relief, flooding her as she reaches the vehicle, sliding into the passenger seat, the door slamming shut like a victory bell. "Got it," she gasps, pulling the USB from its hiding spot, handing it over, her fingers trembling from the close call. Tara nods, tucking it into her pocket, her face grim but steady. "Good work. We'll crack it tonight, nail these bastards." Lena leans back, the leather cool against her spine, believing she's safe, the mission back on track. Grayson's reach finally snapped. Then sirens wail, piercing the garage's quiet red and blue lights flashing through the concrete pillars, and Lena's stomach drops, her head snapping to Tara. "What the hell?" she whispers. But Tara's already gunning the engine, tires squealing as she peels out, weaving through parked cars. "They've got your name," Tara snaps, eyes on the rear view. "Grayson's report hit the wire, terrorist suspect, armed and dangerous. We've got minutes." Lena's blood runs cold, the word terrorist a sledgehammer to her chest. Grayson's hate twisting her into a monster for every cop in Seattle to hunt. Tara veers toward an exit ramp, but headlights flare ahead, a SWAT van barreling in, black-clad figures spilling out, rifles glinting under the sodium lights. "Ambush!" Tara curses, slamming the brakes, the SUV fishtailing as she spins the wheel, aiming for a side lane. Lena's mind reels. How did they know? Who sold her? Out? She scans Tara's face, a flicker of doubt creeping in. But there's no time. Bullets pinging off the hood as Tara floors it, the vehicle lurching forward. "Hold on!" Tara yells, ramming a barricade, wood splintering as they burst through, but a second van cuts them off, tires screeching, and Lena sees him, a figure in the SWAT line, radio to his ear, his silhouette too familiar. It's not Grayson, but his stench is all over this, his vendetta weaponized through a mole she can't name. "Out!" Tara shouts, kicking her door open, and Lena follows, bolting from the SUV as gunfire erupts, glass shattering behind them. They dive behind a concrete pillar, Tara pulling a pistol, returning fire. But Lena's unarmed, her FBI badge useless in this chaos. She spots a gap, a maintenance tunnel 30 feet off, and grabs Tara's arm. "There!" she hisses, dragging her toward it, bullets chewing the wall inches from her head. They make it, scrambling into the dark, the tunnel's damp air swallowing them as the SWAT team closes in, shouts echoing. Lena runs, Tara lagging, her breath ragged, and they emerge in an alley, rain slicking the pavement, the sirens are fading. Wail. "We're clear," Lena pants, leaning against a dumpster, her chest heaving, believing she slipped the trap again. The USB with Tara, the mission still breathing. But Tara's hand clamps her wrist, tight and wrong. And Lena turns, seeing a glint of panic in her handler's eyes. "There's a leak," Tara whispers, voice low, urgent. "Inside the bureau. Grayson's tied to them, the syndicate. I don't know how deep." Lena's world tilts, the realization a knife in her gut. Her escape a fluke against a machine that's already turned on her. She's not just hunted by cops, she's betrayed by her own. And Grayson's racist fury has lit, a fuse that's burning through everything she trusts. Hey, can you believe how far Grayson's hate has pushed this? Comment number 1 if you think Lena's resilience is what's keeping her alive. Or number 2, if you're raging at how the system's stacked against her. Smash that like button if you're gripped by this twist, and subscribe to see if she can outrun this betrayal. Tara's shaken. But is the mole closer than Lena thinks? Ready to strike from the shadows? Lena Harper crouches behind a rusted dumpster in a Seattle alley, rain drumming on her gray coat, her breath fogging in the damp night air as she scans the shadows for pursuit. The blood-streaked USB drive is gone, handed off to Tara in the parking. Garage chaos, its secrets now her handler's burden to crack. A lifeline to dismantle the cop-led gun-running syndicate that's turned Lena into a hunted fugitive. Tara's words, "There's a leak," still burn in her ears. A betrayal from within the FBI twisting the knife of Grayson's racist frame-up, his terrorist suspect label, a noose tightening with every siren that wails in the distance. She's 32, her cover is Lena Miles shredded, her real identity a liability as she ducks into a rundown motel 3 blocks from the alley, the neon sign flickering vacancy above a peeling door. She pays cash, $20 for a room that smells of mildew and regret. The clerk barely glancing at her soaked figure, her hood pulled low. Inside, she locks the door, wedges a chair under the knob, and collapses onto a sagging mattress, her ribs screaming from the cargo bay ambush, her shoulder throbbing from Grayson's shove at O'Hare. The burner phone's dead, battery drained, in the tunnel escape. But Tara's got the USB, she tells herself, the mission's still alive. Seattle's midnight drop at Pier 52 just 90 minutes away. She's safe here, she thinks. A hole to hide in while Tara decodes the data, exposes the syndicate, clears her name. She peels off her wet coat, checks the window, the parking lot empty under a flickering street lamp, and lets her guard slip, exhaustion pulling her under. She's wrong. A crash splinters the door, wood cracking as 3 syndicate thugs burst in, black hoodies and gloved fists, their eyes glinting with malice she knows too well. "Found you," the leader grunts, a hulking man with a shaved head and a scar slicing, his cheek, his voice a growl that chills her blood. Lena rolls off the bed, adrenaline surging, but they're on her fast, a fist slamming into her jaw, stars exploding in her vision as she stumbles back. She swings, catching Scarface in the throat, but a second thug, wiry and quick, grabs her arms, pinning them as the third, a stocky brute with a buzz cut, drives a knee into her gut. Pain blooms, her breath gone, and they hurl her against the wall, plaster cracking under her weight. "Where's the drive?" Scarface snarls, yanking her FBI credentials from her coat pocket, the badge she's kept hidden now a trophy in his grip. "Lena Harper, huh? Fed, bitch." Her stomach lurches, Grayson's allies striking back, his hate fueling this ambush, but she grits her teeth, blood trickling from her lip. "Gone!" she spits, voice hoarse, buying time as her mind races. They beat her harder, fists pounding, her ribs, her face, each blow a message from a syndicate that won't let her win. She twists, desperation fueling her, and grabs a chipped lamp from the nightstand, smashing it into Buzzcut's skull, a sickening crunch as he drops, lifeless, blood pooling on the stained carpet. Scarface roars, lunging, but she ducks, bolting, for the door, her legs shaky but driven by raw will. She's out, rain lashing her as she staggers into the lot, the thug's shouts fading behind her, her chest heaving as she rounds a corner, disappearing into a maze of backstreets. She's alive, she thinks, clutching her side. The motel a burning memory as she finds a payphone under a sagging awning, fumbling coins from her pocket. She dials Tara, the line ringing, her breath ragged, believing she's turned the tide, taken one down, escaped their grasp. The call connects, Tara's voice crackling through. "Lena, you okay?" And she gasps. "They hit me, took my badge, I killed one, I'm clear now." Tara's silent a beat. Then, "Stay low, I've got the drive, we're close." Lena hangs up, relief washing over her, the mission still breathing, her fight not for nothing. She's wrong again. A TV flickers in a diner window across the street, the volume low but the image sharp. Her face plastered on the screen, a mugshot she's never taken, her stolen badge flashing beside it. Cop killer suspect, Lena Harper, the anchor drones, wanted for the murder of an officer in Seattle, armed and dangerous. Her knees buckle, the world tilting as Grayson's voice cuts through. A live interview, his smug face filling the frame. "She's a threat," he says, eyes glinting with triumph. "Slipped my custody in Chicago, and now she's killing cops. I'll bring her down, mark my words." Lena's blood freezes, the syndicate's ambush a setup, her self-defense twisted into a lie that's painted her as a monster nationwide. Grayson's not just a racist cop, he's a puppet master, his vendetta weaving a web she can't outrun, and every step she takes now drags her deeper into his trap, the mission teetering as the city closes in to hunt her down. Lena Harper stumbles through Seattle's rain-soaked streets, her gray coat tattered and clinging to her bruised frame. The payphone's dial tone still buzzing in her ears as she ducks into a shadowed alley, the diner's TV broadcast branding, her a cop killer looping in her mind. The blood-streaked USB drive is with Tara, her handler, a fragile hope to expose the gun-running syndicate. But Grayson's racist vendetta has turned her into a national fugitive, her stolen FBI badge now, a prop in his twisted smear campaign. She's 32, her cover as Lena Miles Ash. Her real identity a target as she dials Tara again from a burner she snatched from a corner store, her hands shaking, blood crusted under her nails from the motel fight. "Tara, it's me," she whispers, voice raw. "They're saying I killed a cop. It's a lie. I need backup now." Tara's voice crackles through, steady but clipped. "Got it, Lena. Hang tight. I'm sending an agent, warehouse on 1st Avenue, 30 minutes. Lena nods to herself, relief flickering. The FBI her lifeline against Grayson's web and the syndicate's fists. She tosses the burner into a dumpster, her ribs screaming with every step as she weaves through back streets, rain blurring the neon glow of bars and pawn shops, her hood low, avoiding every passing car's glare. She reaches the warehouse, a hulking shell of rusted steel and broken windows, the air thick with diesel and rot, and slips inside, the cavernous space swallowing her footsteps. A figure waits by a stack of crates, tall and broad in a dark jacket, his face shadowed under a cap, and Lena's chest loosens. Backup's here, she thinks, Tara's promise delivered. "Agent?" she calls, voice echoing, stepping closer, her hand brushing her coat pocket where her gun should be, lost in the motel chaos. The man turns, slow and deliberate, and her stomach drops, his eyes glinting with a malice no Fed should carry. A syndicate tattoo peeking from his collar, a jagged skull she's seen on their muscle before. "Not quite," he snarls, lunging, his fist cracking into her jaw, sending her sprawling onto the concrete, pain exploding in her skull. She scrambles up, adrenaline surging, but he's fast, a boot slamming into her side, her bruised ribs cracking audibly as she gasps, air fleeing her lungs. "Tara sent you to the slaughter," he growls, hauling her up by her hair, her scalp burning as he drags her to a chair, zip-tying her wrists behind her back, the plastic biting into her skin. Two more thugs emerge from the shadows, one with a buzz cut and a switchblade, the other lean with a crooked grin, both reeking of the syndicate's cruelty. "Where's the drive?" Buzzcut demands, pressing the blade to her throat, a cold sting drawing a bead of blood. Lena's mind reels, Tara compromised, the leak she warned about now a gaping wound, Grayson's reach burrowing into her own ranks. "With a lawyer," she lies, voice steady despite the pain, her training kicking in, bluffing to buy time. "Safe, out of your hands." The tattooed fake agent snorts, slamming a fist into her gut, her vision swimming as she doubles over, bile rising in her throat. "Wrong answer," he mutters, nodding to crooked grin, who pulls out a car battery and jumper cables, the metal clinking with a promise of agony. They hook her up, clamps biting her fingers, and the first shock rips through her. A white-hot scream she can't hold back, her body convulsing, every nerve ablaze. "Talk." Buzzcut hisses, the blade tracing her cheek, but she grits her teeth silent, her will a steel thread against their torture. They hit her again, voltage surging, her muscles seizing, tears mixing with rain on her face, and she thinks of Grayson, his smug voice on TV. This his doing, his hate fueling a betrayal she never saw coming. After 3 rounds, they tire, her, body limp, her breath shallow, and Tattoo mutters, "She's done," kicking her chair over, leaving her sprawled in a puddle, the cables sparking beside her. They vanish into the dark, thinking she's dead. Her pulse a faint flutter they don't bother to check. She's not. She crawls, inch by agonizing inch, zip ties cutting her wrists as she drags herself to a crate, using a jagged edge to saw them free, blood slicking her hands. She staggers up. Alive, she thinks, stumbling out a side door into the night, her body a wreck, but her mind sharp, outsmarting them again. Tara's betrayal a wound deeper than the bruises. She finds a payphone, dials Tara's number, her voice a rasp as it connects, and a man answers. Not Tara, his tone cold. "Who's this?" Lena freezes, the line crackling. Then a child's cry cuts through, faint but piercing. Tara's daughter, Lily, 6 years old. A voice Lena knows from a photo on Tara's desk. "Tell her we've got the girl," the man says, hanging up. And Lena's world shatters. The syndicate's retaliation a sledgehammer. Tara's family now leverage her. Escape a hollow victory as Grayson's puppet strings pull tighter, dragging everyone she trusts into his racist abyss. Lena Harper staggers through Seattle's rain-drenched streets, her gray coat a shredded shroud clinging to her battered frame. The payphone's chilling words, "We've got the girl," echoing in her skull like a death knell. Her body's a roadmap of pain, ribs cracked from the syndicate's fists, fingers burned from their jumper cables. But the news of Tara's 6-year-old daughter, Lily, kidnapped by Grayson's puppet masters, ignites a fire in her gut, hotter than the torture she endured in that warehouse. The blood-streaked USB drive is with Tara, her compromised handler. Its secret's the only weapon left to dismantle the cop-led gun-running ring that's turned Lena into a framed cop killer. A fugitive at 32 with nothing but her wits and a stolen will to fight. She's got no badge, no gun, just a burning need to save Lily and claw back control from the syndicate's grip. Grayson's racist hate the fuel behind this nightmare. She spots a parked sedan 2 blocks down, a beat-up Toyota with a cracked windshield, and hotwires it in 30 seconds, her FBI training cutting through the haze of exhaustion, the engine sputtering to life as she peels out, rain streaking the glass. She knows the syndicate's safe house, a squat brick building near the docks, intel she gleaned from months undercover, and she floors it, tires hydroplaning on slick pavement, her mind locked on Lily's cry from that call. She crashes the car, through the safe house gate, metal screeching as she bursts into the lot, headlights pinning 2 guards who scatter, shouting into radios. She's out before they regroup, a tire iron snatched from the trunk her only weapon, and she charges, adrenaline drowning the pain as she cracks one guard's knee, his scream swallowed by the storm, the other catching a blow to the jaw that drops him cold. Inside, the air's thick with cigarette smoke and fear, Lily's sobs guiding her through a maze of crates and flickering bulbs, and she finds the girl tied to a chair, tear-streaked but alive, guarded by a lanky thug with a pistol. Lena moves like a shadow, tire iron swinging, catching his wrist before he can aim, the gun clattering as she slams him into a wall, his head bouncing off concrete with a wet thud. She cuts Lily free, the girl clinging to her, trembling, and Lena whispers, "You're safe now." Her voice a lifeline as she hauls her out, believing she's turned the tide, snatched victory from Grayson's jaws. She plants fake evidence, a forged note pinning the guard's death on a rival gang, stuffing it in his pocket, then torches a stack of papers with a lighter from the floor, flames licking up as she bolts, Lily in her arms, the sedan roaring, back to life. She's outsmarted them, she thinks, weaving through traffic, the safe house a smoldering ruin in her rear view, the cops' manhunt redirected by her ruse. Lily's warmth against her chest a fragile win. She dials Marcus Reed, a grizzled FBI ally from her Quantico days, 45 and loyal, his number burned into her memory, and he picks up, voice rough but steady. "Marcus, it's Lena. I've got Tara's kid, safe house hit, need extraction. Now," she rasps, pulling into an empty lot near the pier, rain hammering the roof. "On it," he grunts. "Pier 54, 20 minutes. She exhales, relief washing over her. Marcus her rock, the mission clawing back from the brink as she strokes Lily's hair, the girl's sobs fading to whimpers. She's done it, she believes. Saved a life. Bought time. Grayson's syndicate reeling from her strike. Then the sky splits, a whine cutting through the storm, and she looks up, headlights catching a swarm of drones, black and sleek, descending like vultures. Their red lights, blinking in the dark. Explosions erupt, the sedan rocking as a blast tears the lot apart, concrete shattering, flames blooming 10 feet away, and Lena dives, shielding Lily as glass rains down, her ears ringing, her victory incinerated. The drones circle, syndicate, tech tracking her every move, Grayson's allies striking back with military-grade fury, and Marcus's line cuts to static mid-sentence, his gruff hang-on, swallowed by silence. She drags Lily behind a dumpster, the girl screaming, her own blood mixing with rain on the pavement, and realizes he's gone, taken or dead, her counterattack a spark that's lit a bigger fire. She's alive, barely, clutching Lily. But the drones hum above, a relentless promise that Grayson's hate won't let her rest, the mission teetering as her world burns around her. Okay, how wild was Lena's fight to save Lily? Comment number 1 if you think her guts are what's keeping this mission alive, or number 2 if you're stunned by how Grayson's crew keeps hitting harder. Drop a like if, you're hooked on her desperate stand, and subscribe to see if she can outlast this drone assault. Marcus is down, but has the syndicate just unleashed a storm Lena can turn against them? Lena Harper huddles behind a dumpster in a shattered Seattle lot, rain pounding her tattered gray coat, 6-year-old Lily trembling in her arms as the drone's red lights fade into the stormy sky, their fiery assault leaving the stolen sedan a smoking husk 20 feet away. Her ribs ache, cracked from syndicate fists. Her ears still ring from the blast that silenced Marcus Reed's line. Her last FBI ally likely dead or captured, and the blood-streaked USB drive's fate hangs with Tara, compromised or not. She's 32, a fugitive framed as a cop killer by Grayson's racist vendetta. The syndicate's tech strike proof his hate's reach is boundless, turning her desperate rescue of Lily into another trap. She wipes blood from her brow, her mind racing, the mission teetering, but she's got no phone, no backup. Just a burner she snags from a junkie slumped against a nearby wall, his shaky nod her only thanks. She dials a dark web contact, a hacker, named Zero she met undercover, voice low as she begs, "Leak the USB data now, I don't care how, just get it out." Zero grunts assent, the line crackling, and within 30 minutes the files hit online. Bank records, shipping logs, cop names, Grayson's among them, spilling across forums like wildfire, her breath catching as she imagines the syndicate scrambling, her move a dagger in their gut. She ditches the burner, hauling Lily to a subway station 3 blocks off. The girls wait a lifeline keeping her grounded, and slips onto a packed train, hood low, blending with commuters as the city hums around her. She's done it. She thinks, crouching by a window, the data's spread a wind that'll clear her name, expose Grayson, end this chase. She's wrong. An hour later, screens flicker in the train car, news alerts buzzing on phones, and her face fills them again. The same fake mugshot, but now a headline screams, "FBI fugitives hoax threatens national security." Her stomach plummets, the syndicate's hackers twisting her leak, planting fake metadata that brands it a fabrication. Her evidence a lie spun by a deranged cop killer. Grayson's face cuts in, live on every channel, his buzz-cut head, bowed, eyes glistening with crocodile tears as he speaks. "I tried to stop her in Chicago. She's a menace. I'm clean. Always have been." Lena's fists clench, his voice a velvet blade. The public swallowing his act, outrage surging online as hashtags demand her head. She glances at Lily, asleep against her shoulder, and feels the weight of a nation turning. Grayson's racist. Frame up now a patriotic crusade, her truth buried under his sob story. The train lurches, pulling into a downtown station, and she hears it. A murmur rippling through the car, heads turning, eyes narrowing as a burly man in a Seahawks cap squints at her, then at his phone, her mugshot glowing in his hand. "That's her," he mutters, voice rising and panic spikes, the crowd shifting, a woman clutching her purse, a teen filming with a smirk. Lena bolts, shoving Lily ahead, leaping through the doors as they hiss shut. The mans shout, "Cop killer!" chasing her up the escalator. She's out, rain lashing her as she hauls Lily into the street. But the mob's forming, phones flashing, a delivery guy lunging to block her, yelling, "Stop her!" She ducks, tire iron from the safe house still tucked in her coat, and swings, catching his arm, a crack of bone as he howls, giving her a gap to sprint. Sirens wail, closer now, and she weaves through traffic, cars honking. Lily's gasps a drumbeat as they dive into another station, Pike Place's underbelly. The crowd, thicker, angrier. She spots a maintenance closet, kicks it open, shoving Lily inside, barricading them with a broom as fists pound the door, voices snarling, "Murderer, get out!" Her chest heaves, blood dripping from a fresh cut on her cheek. The tire iron, slick in her grip as she fights back, slamming it through a gap, a yelp signaling a hit. She's trapped, she realizes, the leak backfiring. Grayson's lies turning strangers into hunters, his syndicate allies amplifying the chaos with every broadcast. She holds Lily close, the girl's whimpers piercing her, and pries a vent loose crawling through with her, emerging in a tunnel, the mob's roar fading as she staggers onto a platform, a train pulling in. She boards, collapsing into a corner, Lily curled against her and catches her breath, believing she slipped them again, the subway her last refuge. But screens flash overhead, a bounty now. 500,000 for Lena Harper, dead or alive. Grayson's tearful plea, replaying and eyes turn her way, a new wave of hunters rising, her every move a spark in a city primed to burn her alive. Lena Harper crouches in the rattling subway car, her tattered gray coat a shroud around her bruised frame, 6-year-old Lily clinging to her side as Seattle's underground tunnels blur past, the mob's roars still echoing from Pike Place Station. Her ribs throb, cracked from syndicate fists. Her cheek bleeds from a mob's wild swing, and the blood-streaked USB drive's data, leaked and twisted into a hoax, has fueled Grayson's racist lie, branding her public enemy #1 with a $500,000 bounty on her head. She's 32, an FBI fugitive with no badge, no gun, just a tire iron and a desperate plan. The mission to expose the cop-led gun-running syndicate teetering as Grayson's hate turns the world against her. She needs proof, hard evidence, to flip the script, and she knows where to find it. Grayson's files, a goldmine of his corruption locked in Chicago's O'Hare police station. She ditches the train at a quiet stop, hauling Lily through a service exit, stealing a delivery van from a loading dock, its keys dangling in the ignition, and drives east, rain streaking the windshield as she races back to the city that birthed this nightmare. 16 hours of gritted teeth and stolen gas. She parks near O'Hare's perimeter, late night cloaking her as she slips Lily into a blanket in the back, whispering, "Stay quiet. I'll be fast." The girls nod a fragile trust. Lena moves, tire iron tucked in her coat, scaling a fence with aching limbs, her training a lifeline as she infiltrates the station through a basement vent, the air thick with dust and oil. She finds the records room, a dim cave of filing cabinets, and humming computers, and hacks in, her undercover skills cracking passwords, Grayson's name glowing on the screen. She pulls his logs, bribes totaling millions, payments from syndicate fronts, dates matching gun shipments she tracked for months, a paper trail that could bury him. She copies it all to a thumb drive, her breath shallow, believing she's ahead. At last, the truth in her hands to counter his TV tears and the bounty's lies. She's out, creeping back through the basement, the station silent save for a janitor's distant mop. And she's almost to the vent when lights flare, a dozen boots thundering down the stairs, Grayson's voice barking, "She's here!" Her heart stops, his buzz-cut silhouette towering at the head of a private militia, not cops. Hired guns in black tactical gear, rifles glinting, a mole in the FBI feeding him her every move. She bolts, tire iron swinging, cracking a mercenary's jaw as she dives for cover behind a boiler, bullets chewing the wall, plaster raining down. Grayson's there in the flesh, his sneer ablaze as he strides forward, unscathed by her leak, his power deeper than she feared. "Thought you could dig in my dirt?" he growls, his pistol drawn, a shot grazing her arm, blood soaking her sleeve as she grits her teeth, firing back with a stolen gun from a downed thug, her aim true, catching his shoulder, a howl escaping, him as he staggers. She runs, weaving through pipes. The militia shouts a cacophony as she bursts out the vent, tumbling into the night, thumb drive clutched tight, believing she's crippled him, his blood on her trail a mark of her fight. She reaches the van, Lily's wide eyes meeting hers as she guns the engine, peeling out, O'Hare shrinking in the rear view, her arm throbbing but her spirit blazing, the file's her weapon to end this. She's wrong. Her burner buzzes, a number she doesn't know, and she answers, a voice rasping, "Check Detroit." She frowns, pulling over near a gas station, flipping a radio on, and a news bulletin crackles through. Breaking. Detroit home torched, family displaced, suspected retaliation linked to fugitive Lena Harper. Her gut twists. Her parents' house, modest brick on a quiet street, now ash. Her mom and dad safe but homeless. Grayson's syndicate striking back, a direct hit to her soul. She slams the wheel, tears burning her eyes. The thumb drives victory hollow as his hate lashes out. Not at her body this time, but her roots. Her everything, proving he'll burn the world to keep her down. The mission a war she's losing piece by piece. Lena Harper grips the steering wheel of the stolen delivery van, her gray coat soaked with rain and blood. 6-year-old Lily asleep in the back under a blanket as they speed away from O'Hare's perimeter, the thumb drive in her pocket burning. With Grayson's corruption, millions in bribes linking him to the gun-running syndicate. Her arm throbs from his bullet graze, her ribs scream from past beatings. But the news of her parents' torched Detroit home fuels a rage hotter than her. Pain. Grayson's racist vendetta stripping her of everything at 32. An FBI fugitive with no badge left to lose. She's got proof now, hard evidence to bury him, and she's done running, done hiding. Her mission to expose the syndicate boiling down to this. One last stand to rip his mask off for the world. She drives back to O'Hare, dawn breaking gray and cold, and lures Grayson to an abandoned hangar near the cargo bays, a cavern of rusted steel and broken glass she knows from her undercover days. She rigs the security cams with a hacked laptop from the van, broadcasting live to every news outlet she can ping, her fingers trembling as she uploads Grayson's files, the feed flickering on, her face a bruised testament as she speaks. "Victor, Grayson's dirty, here's the proof, watch him confess." She hides Lily in a crate whispering, "Stay quiet, baby." The girls nod, a fragile anchor, and waits, tire iron in hand, the thumb drive a decoy in her pocket, the real one stashed. With Marcus days ago, a gamble she prays pays off. Grayson arrives, his buzz-cut head gleaming under the hangar's flickering lights, his shoulder bandaged from her shot, his pistol drawn, a smirk twisting his lips as he strides in, his private militia fanning out. 10 black-clad mercenaries, with rifles, his voice booming. "You're done, Harper, nowhere left to crawl." Lena steps into the open, tire iron raised, the cams rolling as she taunts. "Tell them, Grayson. Tell the world how you sold out, took their money, let guns flood the streets." His eyes narrow, fury flashing, but he laughs, a cold bark that echoes. "You're the liar, a cop killer spinning tales, I'm the hero here." She lunges, years of training in her swing, cracking his wrist, his gun clattering as he roars, her voice steady. "Millions in bribes, it's all online. Confess or they'll see it anyway." He staggers, clutching his arm, but swings back, a knife flashing from his belt slicing her side, blood soaking her shirt as she gasps, pain searing, yet she twists, slamming the tire iron into his knee, a snap of bone dropping him to the concrete. She pins him, knee on his chest, the cams catching every grunt, every curse, and he spits. "I kept order, you people ruin everything." His racist core bared raw, a confession streaming live as she pants. "That's it. Keep talking. Bury yourself." She's won, she thinks, the world watching, his empire crumbling, her mission breaking through his lies at last. She's wrong. The hangar doors burst open, his militia storming in, boots pounding, rifles raised, A coordinated roar. As they free Grayson, hauling him up, his smirk returning, bloodied but unbroken. They grab Lena, wrenching the tire iron away, pinning her arms, her side bleeding as she kicks, screams, the cam still rolling, her victory flipping to a nightmare. Grayson staggers to his feet, snatching a rifle from a thug, his voice a growl. "You thought you'd win? I'm untouchable, Harper. Watch me end you." He aims, the barrel inches from her face, his finger tightening, and he turns to the cams. "She attacked me. Unprovoked. A threat neutralized, see?" The militia nods, a rehearsed chorus, and Lena's hope gutters, her body spent. Lily's crate silent in the chaos. The broadcast a death sentence as Grayson plays martyr, his racist hate poised to claim her life on live air. She glares, defiant, her breath ragged, the world's eyes on her, believing she's fought her last fight. The syndicate's puppet master about to pull the trigger. Her parents' loss, her mission, all for nothing as his finger twitches. The hangar. A tomb closing. Around her, Lena Harper kneels in the abandoned O'Hare hangar, her gray coat drenched in blood and rain. Wrists pinned by Grayson's militia as the rifle barrel presses cold against her forehead. His finger curling on the trigger, his smug face a mask of triumph streaming live to the world. Her side bleeds from his knife, her ribs crack with every breath. 6-year-old Lily hidden in a crate 10 yards away, the thumb drive decoy in her pocket a useless taunt as Grayson's voice booms. "She's done." A cop killer caught in the act. The cams hum, broadcasting her end. His racist vendetta at 32 years old about to snuff out her mission to expose the gun-running syndicate. Her parents torched home a fresh wound, her fight seemingly lost. She glares up, defiant, her brown eyes burning into his, a silent vow even as death looms. The world watching a lie she can't unspin. Then the feed cuts, static crackling across the screens, and the hangar doors explode inward, steel buckling as black-clad FBI agents swarm in, rifles blazing, led by Marcus Reed, 45, grizzled and alive, his face a storm of fury. Grayson's shot fires wild and wide, grazing her ear as Marcus tackles him, the militia scattering under a hail of bullets, shouts, and smoke, the air alive with chaos. Lena twists free, rolling as an agent cuts her loose, her body screaming, but her mind sharp, the reversal a lifeline she never expected. Marcus pins Grayson, wrenching his arms back, cuffs snapping on as the cams flicker back, now showing the truth. Agents rounding up thugs. Lily's crate cracked open, the girl safe in a female agent's arms. Lena staggers up, blood dripping, and faces Grayson, his sneer gone, replaced by panic as Marcus growls, "You're finished, you bastard." She pulls the real USB from her coat, the one she slipped Marcus days ago in a dead drop, her voice hoarse. "This is it. The real data, not the decoy you chased." She hands it off, an agent plugging it into a laptop, the screen blooming with Grayson's bribes, syndicate deals, irrefutable proof streaming live as the world gasps. His confession from minutes ago, the nail in his coffin. Grayson thrashes, spitting, "You set me up, you filth." But the agents haul him off, his militia cuffed or bleeding on the concrete, the hangar a battlefield of justice reclaimed. Lena sways, relief crashing through her. The mission won. Grayson's empire, dust, his racist hate exposed for millions to see. Her parents' loss avenged in this brutal dawn. She's wrong, not fully. Marcus steadies her, his gruff voice low. "We used your feed, tracked you, got here just in time." But his eyes darken, a weight unspoken. The lead agent, a stern woman named Carter, steps up, her tone flat. "Good work, Harper. He's down, the syndicate's cracking, but your name's still mud." Lena frowns, the USB's truth undeniable, yet Carter continues. "Public split. Half see you as a hero, half still buy Grayson's martyr act. The bounties, off but you're a ghost now, too hot to reinstate." Her gut twists, the victory bittersweet, her fight clearing the syndicate's rot but leaving her a fugitive hero. Her FBI badge a memory, her life a shadow. She nods, grim, and takes Lily's hand, the girl's small fingers curling into hers, as Marcus mutters, "We'll hide you, new ID, you've earned that much." They slip out, the hangar swarming with feds, Grayson screams fading as he's dragged to a van. His empires collapse, a thunderclap across the airwaves. But Lena's steps falter, her side bleeding, her future a haze. She's alive, free in a way. The real USB, her final play. A decoy gambit that flipped the game. Yet the cost sinks in. Her name tarnished, her family displaced. The system she fought for spitting her out. She climbs into an FBI SUV, Lily beside. Her, Marcus at the wheel, and they vanish into Chicago's sprawl. The city waking to a scandal she birthed. Grayson's cuffs a win she'll never fully own. She leans back, exhaustion claiming her, and vows silently, this isn't the end. Not while corruption festers, not while she breathes. A hidden warrior with battles left to wage. Justice her torch in a world that won't forgive her face. Lena Harper's harrowing journey and racist cop stops black woman at airport, unaware she's an undercover FBI agent on a secret mission, offers raw, unfiltered lessons about resilience, systemic corruption, and the cost of fighting injustice. First, it exposes how deeply racism can infiltrate authority, with Officer Victor Grayson's prejudice driving a vendetta that framed Lena as a cop killer, showing that power unchecked by accountability breeds tyranny. Her story screams that one person's hate can ignite a firestorm, turning allies into enemies and truth into lies. Second, Lena's relentless spirit teaches us that survival demands cunning and grit, not just against physical threats like syndicate ambushes or drone strikes, but against a world quick to believe the worst based on skin alone. She outsmarted Grayson time and again, from faking tears to planting decoys, proving intelligence can outlast brute force. Third, the betrayal from within her own FBI ranks, with Tara's compromise and Marcus's near loss, underscores that trust is a luxury when corruption runs deep. A lesson in vigilance for anyone battling a broken system. Finally, the bittersweet end, where Lena's victory leaves her a fugitive hero, reveals justice's steep price, her name tarnished despite exposing Grayson's millions in bribes, a stark reminder that systemic change often sacrifices its champions. This tale isn't just a thriller, it's a mirror to society's flaws, urging us to question who gets labeled a villain and why. So, what do you take from Lena's fight? Comment below if you think one person can still shift the tide against racism. Hit like if her story fired you up, and subscribe for more tales of grit and truth. Share this with anyone who needs to see justice's real face. Thanks for riding this wild journey with us. Stay fierce and keep pushing for what's right.